Megas are finally going to be back in Pokemon Legends ZA, and competitive Pokemon players everywhere could not be more excited, myself included. Megas are by far the overall fan favorite mechanic from competitive players, especially singles players like myself. However, since they initially came out, Pokemon has underwent some insane amounts of power creep. So much so that some of these Megas would just not be worth using in today's metagame if they were to come back in their original form. Recently, my good friend Liv made a video going over buffs she would give to Megas to bring them up to the current level of power creep, but Liv plays VGC or double battles. Myself, being a single battle and draft league player, wanted to approach buffing Megas from that perspective. So today, we'll do that, and buff the worst Mega Pokemon. Hey guys, OGalbina here, and if you guys do enjoy today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you not only dropped a like on the video, but sub to the channel if you're new. We're on our way to 5,000 subs by the end of the year, and I need your help in order to reach there. We only got about a month left, so it really mean a ton to me if you help me out along that journey. And yeah, with that being said, we'll keep it short and sweet. Let's jump right into the video. Mega Pidgeot is so close to being incredible. It's a solid speed tier in 121, and is pretty strong at base 135 special attack. It also has the ability to throw off no guard, 100% accurate hurricanes. It is a bit lacking outside of this though, having no viable normal stab and struggling to hit a lot of flying resist for viable damage. Heat Wave struggles to pick up the 2-hit KO on a ton of steel types, and you're absolutely stuffed by rock types. So we'll be adding Hyper Voice to its move pool for a reliable normal stab, and most importantly, Focus Blast. Not only does this nuke through common bulky flying resist like say Tyranitar or Registeel, but it also gains the no guard benefit. Not having to risk neither Hurricane or Focus Blast is incredible on a breaker or revenge killer like Mega Pidgeot. We'll also slightly be buffing Pidgeot's stats, taking 10 away from its base attack and adding 5 to both its special attack and speed. 126 is an elite speed tier, giving it a jump on Pokemon like Darkrai, Meowscarada, and Greninja. The extra phase 5 special attack is only going to help our damage output from there. Ampharos might be the most forgotten Mega of all time. I love this guy's design aesthetically, but my goodness is its balancing atrocious. It's blessed with an incredible typing, power, and bulk, but it's really lacking otherwise. First up, we'll swap out its allegedly useless ability in Mold Breaker for the incredible Fluffy. Fluffy doubles the user's physical defense stat when they are attacked by moves that make contact, letting Ampharos play into that physically defensive wall even better than it did previously. I went Fluffy over Fur Coat to limit this effect a bit, and ensure moves like Earthquake from ground type checks and counters will still hit it hard. This is important when considering the buffs we're about to give it. We will also be completely overhauling its Baron move pool. First, we'll give it Draco Meteor. Mega Ampharos' best and only Dragon Step option being Dragon Pulse feels really awful when you use it. Now we can throw off absolute nukes off of our base 165 special attack stat. We'll also be giving it Tail Glow. It makes sense thematically and lets Ampharos use its largely unresisted dual stab combo to the best of its ability against slower balance-oriented builds. I know this sounds like a lot, but keep in mind how slow Ampharos is and its lack of recovery. To make up for its lack of speed, we will also give Ampharos the former signature move of Raging Bolt and Thunderclap. This lets Ampharos make up for its slow speed stat in some scenarios. Mega Steelix is in a weird middle ground right now. It lacks the utilities of a lot of defensive Megas and lacks the raw power and win potential of more offensive Megas. We'll be leaning more into that defensive utility to fix Lix's toolkit. First, we'll be taking an idea from Liz's video that I thought would be perfect, and we're going to give Mega Steelix a new ability in Earth Eater. If there was a Pokemon outside of Earthworm that were to get this ability, Mega Steelix makes the most sense. Plus, having a Steel not only immune to ground, but one that heals off of attacks with the typing is absolutely incredible. And the immunity to both ground and electric is incredible roll compression. Eat your heart out, Sandy Shocks. I'd also like to propose adding Spikes to Steelix's move pool, making it that much more of a deadly hazards mod. Pretty much every ground type got Spikes in Scarlet and Violet too, so it's not too much of a stretch. On top of this new ability and buff move pool, we'll add a slight stat rework and take away 10 of Mega Steelix's base speed and add it to its special defense. This just makes it that much more bulky and leans into that defensive Mega roll even better. On to Gen 3, and we have the weakest Hoenn starter by far, Mega Septile. Mega Septile has two great qualities going for it: its special attack and more importantly, its speed. The Christmas Tree Dragon is insanely fast and insanely strong, boasting a ridiculous base 145 in both stats. 145 speed allows it to outpace the fastest of threats, including otherwise unmatched Pokemon like Dragapult and Zeraora. Where it really lacks is in its move pool. Mega Step almost feels like its move pool was designed for it to be a predominantly physical attacker. We will be remedying this by adding Draco Meteor to its arsenal, much like we did for Ampharos. And of course, U-turn for momentum. Earth Power to let it hit annoying fire and steel types, and Nasty Plot to let it boost on the special side. Being able to boost via plot will let it flex into the sweeper or cleaner roles opposed to just being the anti-meta revenge killer it is reserved to right now. Everybody's favorite mega is next. Sableye. I'm just kidding, everybody hates this guy. Sableye is the stall mega. It fits phenomenally on those playstyles with its incredible typing, bulk, and defensive ability and magic bounce, always preventing hazards from going up on its team's side. My issue with Mega Sableye is how terrible it is on other playstyles. So I have 2 quick move pool revisions to help with Sableye's viability on other playstyles without compromising its identity as a Pokemon, especially considering the offense-heavy direction the meta has been going as of late. First, we'll be making sure Sableye gets Toxic back. It lost it in between Generations 7 and 8, and regaining it is only a positive for Mega Sableye. The more opportunity for passive damage, the better. The real big addition I want to add to Sableye's move pool is Parting Shot. The slow momentum this would offer on balanced and bulky offense teams would be really cool, making Sableye feel much less like a sitting duck as the answer pivots in. The Sableye user could actually play more reactively and offensively now. Time for another defensive steel-type Mega Aggron. Aggron always provides some cool utility. Filter plus the pure steel typing is an incredible combination. In practice though, its lack of recovery is really felt. Very often you want to pair some kind of fairy wish passer alongside it to make sure it can really stick around for a long time. To let Aggron function better all on its own, we'll be giving it Slack Off as a way to recover HP outside of the passive rest. We'll also add spikes to its move pool, letting it set up both hazards like our new Mega Steelix. And we'll give it Bulk Up. It may seem redundant as it already has Curse and uses Iron Defense more. Curse's speed drop is actually usually a negative as Aggron doesn't have access to Gyro Ball. And Bulk Up in general is nice for some matchups where Aggron would prefer to run more offensive Heavy Slam plus Earthquake sets over Iron Defense Body Press sets. More options is always going to be better than less. Mega Manectric is the exact opposite of Mega Aggron. Instead of slow and defensive, it's incredibly fast and offensive, using Volt Switch, Intimidate, and its lightning fast speed to pivot around on teams getting in more apt breakers. When Megas were in the game, Manectric was actually quite good. However, I am pretty worried about it existing in a universe with no hidden power, where it's completely walled by ground types. To ensure this doesn't happen, we're going to give Manectric access to Energy Ball, giving it an option to hit ground types super effectively, a bit harder than before, but still not hitting dragons as well, unlike where it could run the middle ground hidden power Ice in generations past. I'd also love for it to take advantage of its speed and be a fast taunt user, really stopping any passive play in its tracks. And also, we'll give it Tail Glow. A lot of electrics already should kind of get the move, and Manectric lights up when it clicks attack, so it makes sense. Let's just go with it. Lastly, we'll buff up Mega Main's power just a bit and take away 10 of its unused attack and put it right into its special attack, letting it pressure more mons with its now electric, fire, and grass coverage. Hitting dragons super effectively won't matter as much when they have to pivot in on hazards plus a strong Volt Switch, even if it is resistant. Time to slow it back down with Mega Camerupt. The Camel hits pretty damn hard with sheer force, but man is it slow. That plus its weakness latent typing makes it pretty difficult to use. It does fit very well in very specific playstyles though, whether it be on grassy terrain builds alongside Tapu Bulu or theoretically Rillaboom, or Trick Room oriented builds alongside Trick Room Teleport Slowking. It also checks top tier electrics like Tapu Koko and Zeraora incredibly well. I found it pretty hard to fix Camel's weaknesses without changing core design elements, so I figured it would be best just to accent its strengths a bit better. First, we'll make Camerupt a bit bulkier, taking away 20 of its seldom used attack and adding 10 to each of its defenses. We'll also have Power Gem as a better rock coverage from the special side, Steam Eruption for some cool water type coverage and a super strong attack boosted by Sheer Force, and Slack Off to give it more of an opportunity to recover in advantageous matchups. We'll also add spikes to its move pool so it can be just like every other Gen 9 ground type. With these buffs, Camel remains very niche, but it performs its niches a lot better. Jack of all trades, master of none, Mega Altaria is up next. Mega Alt is blessed with a completely unique typing that is both incredible offensively and defensively in Dragon and Fairy. The combination of Fairy Stab boosted by Pixelate and coverage in Flamethrower or Earthquake make Alt pretty difficult to deal with, especially after a Dragon Dance or Cotton Guard. The issue with Altaria is the whole Master of None thing. Its stats just really struggle letting it be that specially offensive threat or that Dragon Dance sweeper, especially after the H ability nerf. Therefore, my proposal is to lean more into the bulky utility side of Mega Altaria. We'll be adding the moves Taunt, Thunder Wave, and Encore to its move pool to really up the ante on utility. We'll also finally give it Calm Mind, giving Alt the option to set up on the special side. In my opinion, these move pool additions would be the best approach to improve Alt, building on that Swiss Army knife aspect of the mod. Mega Banet needs a lot of help. I'll keep it a stack, this guy is terrible. Now, the recent additions of Encore, Poltergeist, and Skitter Smack to hit Dark-type was cool for a theoretical Mega Banet, but not close to making it actually viable. Here's my idea for a Mega Banet overhaul. First off, let's give it the Dark typing. This new dual typing of Ghost Dark is incredible defensively, only having one weakness in Fairy. Plus, this gives Banet new stab on the plentiful amount of Dark-type attacks it has access to already, like Knock Off, Sucker Punch, and Foul Play. Next up, we'll adjust its stats a bit, taking away a whopping 30 from its special attack stat and a surprising 10 from its base attack. Now, I know the attack nerf seems counterintuitive, but I just couldn't justify taking away from its speed, as it's already pretty slow as is, and I definitely didn't want to take away from its bulk, as you'll see soon. Plus, 155 attack is plenty, especially if it's in sacrifice for some much needed bulk. We'll take that 40 BST and add 20 to each of its defense stats, letting it play into that prankster utility more and find more setup opportunities with Swords Dance. From there, we'll add Drain Punch to its move pool to have a much better way of hitting Dark types than Skitter Smack, giving it a bit of recovery. From there, we should have a somewhat viable Mega Banet. Let me know if I cook with this one in the comments or not. Mega Absol seems like it should be good on paper, incredibly fast and strong from both attacking sides. However, it always feels like it just misses out on one-hit KOs it needs, considering how frail it is. First up, we're going to be super basic and add the Fairy typing to Absol, giving it a much needed secondary stab and a really strong offensive typing. We'll also give it Spirit Break as a more accurate stab option to go alongside Play Rough. Absol needs a bit more oops still, so we'll take 10 away from its special attack, making it lose some potency as a mixed attacker, and add that right to its attack stat. We're at the point in power creep where being really good at one thing is much better than being okay at multiple things. From that buff and the added stab, Absol should be able to catch up to some of the other Megas a bit better. Mega Glalie is one of my favorite Megas design-wise. Something about the unhinged jaw is so sick. Unfortunately, it's not great competitively, and I have another overhaul similar to Banet to fix that. First up, let's add the Rock typing. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like the unhinged jaw has like a jagged rocks or gravel feel to it. I don't know, maybe it's a stretch, but work with me here. With this new Rock typing, we're going to give Lily access to some Rock Stab and both Power Jump for special stats and Diamond Storm for physical variants. Oh, and of course it'll get Stealth Rock too, letting it set dual hazards alongside spikes. We'll give it Earthbound to hit Steel types on the special side if it wants to go as a special variant, and Hyper Voice for Refrigerate boosted attacks on said special side. Plus, how does Glalie not have Hyper Voice already? Just look at him. Lastly, we'll adjust the stats a bit, taking 5 away from each of its defenses and give that 10 BST to its speed. 100 base speed just isn't cutting it anymore. This increased speed tier and secondary stab will really help Glalie offensively. Rocks hit ice resistant fire types super effectively, and water types neutrally. Now you only have to worry about steel types, which are pretty straightforward in breaking down pressure. Mega Abomasnow is next, and it was another weird one just like Cameron. It's hard to change it for the better without completely changing it to a new mon altogether, but I think I came up with a fun solution. I propose a new ability in Snowstorm. Basically a beefed up version of Snow Warning that sets the snow for 8 turns opposed to 5. This basically simulates the effect of holding an icy rock with regular Abomasnow. I like this change a lot, as it passes the issue with all of the weather setting Megas, letting them viably set up the weather for their teammates to make use of it for more than a turn or two. From there, I tweak the stats of Obama a little bit and take 10 out of its speed, and add 5 to each of its attacking stats to give it a little bit more oomph. Lastly, Mega Audino. Yippee. Mega Audino is a pretty sad Pokemon. Being a Mega worse than your base form is a pretty sorry state. No, not you, Mega Garchomp, you're cool. To make Mega Audino better than base Audino, all we have to do is make it more like regular Audino. Yep, we're just gonna swap out the useless healer ability for Regenerator. This alone makes Audino miles better. Now you don't have to sit on your Mega the entire game if you want real value out of your ability. We're also going to add Moonlight for 1-turn reliable recovery, and Moonblast for a stronger stab to its move pool. Finally, we'll make Aud a little bit less passive, taking 20 out of its useless attack, and adding that to its more commonly utilized special attack. Hopefully, that's enough to make Audino viable. No promises though. Let me know what you guys thought of the Mega Busts we ended up coming up with in this video. Took me a long time to come up with some of these. I think some of them are pretty over the top. Maybe the Glalie one getting Diamond Storm is pretty funny, but I think for the most part they all make a good amount of sense. If you guys again did enjoy the video, be sure to like it. If you're new here, please sub. On our way to 5K, and I'd really appreciate it a ton. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Later.